Hello everyone. This was a good, albeit fairly underwhelming week of chapters, with some fun development things happening in most of the series, but nothing super special, which is okay from time to time to set up the story for later. So with that, here's the spoiler warning, and we're starting with Black Clover, chapter 290. This was a good chapter, as we see that Asta defeated the high-grade Devil Fusion. Now the real question is, are they really defeated? Maybe? I'm going to assume yes, as we've seen devils fall to this type of attack before. So we saw some more quote-unquote development for Levy, as he explains that he was never able to get anywhere near the high-grade devils in level 1 before. But now, because of Asta, he can now take one down. We also see that the high-grade devil is no longer having fun, and is experiencing fear for the first time. It tries to flee and wait out Asta and Levy's fusion, but Noct gets in the way, leading to Asta cutting it in half and the victory. But Asta and Levy's union is done. I wonder how long the time limit is before they can fuse again. Until then, things will probably get worse. Maybe they can get healed up by Charmy or Mimosa in the meantime. But overall, I'd give that chapter a B. It was good, with some fun action and fun conclusion to the first real devil fight of the arc. I'm assuming whatever one that comes out next is going to be something no one can really handle at all. So now we're on to Mashle, Magic and Muscles, chapter 59. And this was a fun chapter, as round 2 of Mashle vs. Marguerite began. The fight starts with Marguerite on top, showing how strong his magic is and how it counters Mash. Mash, however, doesn't back down and gets the upper hand himself through ridiculous tactics, such as avoiding Marguerite's attack by burrowing into the ground and eventually burying him neck deep in the earth before kicking him in the face. Mash then takes the upper hand, but it doesn't last long as Marguerite gets back to his feet. The chapter ends with the two of them having a standoff, till Marguerite unleashes his ultimate magic, I think, at Mash. So next week we should see how that will unfold, as the two seem to be at a relatively equal level. So something's going to be the X factor in either of them winning, unless the main villain arrives and we don't get a winner. But overall, I'd give that chapter a B. It was good. Seeing round 2 of their clash and seeing them fight each other relatively seriously was fun. Next chapter should be round 3, and I'll bet Mash pulls off the win somehow. So now we're on to Undead Unluck, chapter 60. It was a good chapter, as we see just how ruthless Fang is as he takes Mew, Shen's partner, and plans to kill her. He also breaks Shen mentally by telling him that it's his fault that he killed his sister because of his power, which we learn that it only works on those he's fond of, so it wouldn't work on Fang. Fang then leaves a beaten Shen to mess with Andy and Fuko, who just defeated one of the Summers. Andy and Fuko attack Fang, trying to rescue Mew. He blocks Andy's punch, only for Andy to overpower him, sending him flying. It also seems that Fang's goal is to become the strongest in all of creation, and looks forward to fighting God. So in conclusion, Fang is a battle-obsessed villain, who is actually a villain, not just a guy on the wrong side of the fight, which is a nice change. So the next few weeks should be fun seeing our heroes fight a real villain who isn't an Uma for once. Overall, I'll give that chapter a B. It was good seeing Fang be the major obstacle of the arc. It also seems we'll be getting more character development from Shen, and he'll most likely grow closer with Fuko and Andy. So now we're on to Sakamoto Days, chapter 20. This was a good chapter, as it sets up the new arc where Sakamoto and Shen have to save Lo, as we see that the agents that the lab sent actually had one guy who was skilled, and because of him they were able to escape with Lo. The car chase fight was fun, as we see the two of them use innovative ways to take out most of the agents, but the agent that was driving fought them last and revealed that he had some invisibility powers. This made Sakamoto and Shen struggle, and is how they got away. Shen knew where they would go, and it was some place called the lab. It was in the basement of a museum and is the base for the next arc. Overall, I'd give that chapter a B. It was good as we see our heroes struggle a bit. It'll also be interesting to see how this arc goes. I wonder if we'll get some Shen backstory and development, as well as if the crew as a whole grow closer together from this. Last thing is that Hisaki is still around the shop and is probably on his way to help, because he promised Sakamoto's daughter that he would find everyone. Now we're on to ITLC, chapter 12. A good chapter, as we see the start of a new case, and hopefully a great one, because we are introduced to the criminal extremely early, as she somehow broke into the precinct. We find out that she is called the Phantom Thief Mare, and that she steals artwork of women and quote-unquote improves them. We're also introduced to an old friend of Sekon's who seems to like him, which the chief is all over wanting to know more about. Other than seeing the new case, we got to see how the team is starting to come together. This case should help them grow closer as a whole. Overall, I'd give that chapter a B. It was good, especially the interaction between Mare and Riza. Their quote-unquote chemistry came off rather well, and I look forward to seeing how they continue to foil each other. So that's all the chapters. It was a good week, but a bit underwhelming, like I said in the beginning. The chapters were mostly setup ones, which is good every now and again, with many in the middle of their arcs, so there's some fatigue in them, and others just beginning their arcs, so there's not much there to grab onto yet. So next week I'm hoping things are stronger, but you never know. And if anything, every week is always enjoyable. These are all very enjoyable stories and characters and everything. As for standouts, I think I'll probably go with Black Clover for Asta's victory and Sakamoto Days for its entering an intriguing arc. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. And as always, thank you for watching.